The other day when I put this starter on, I might remember, if you were watching, paying attention, that I had a wire here that I had to adapt to this plug. And I didn't have a soldering iron. Well, and people joke with me about the way I say soldering iron. I think you're supposed to say sorter, and I say solder. I don't know. How's it spelled? I don't know. Let's don't get into that. Anyway, I went out and bought this one. This is like the one that I use up yonder, and it's always worked real good. Before I had that one, I had one for about 60 years. S-O-L, soldering. S-O-L-D-E-R-I-N-G. Soldering ain't spelled that way. It'd be S-O-R-dering. Anyway, don't get me started on Spanish and English and grammar, because I is the expert. But what I was going to do is, and what I started this video to talk about was, I'm going to take this little wire off, and I'm going to spot solder it. Spot solder, is that a word? It's not like spot welding. It's more like spot soldering. Soldering. I'm gonna solder up. You see where that little bit of wire, a little bit of gold wire comes out of that silver thing? I'm going to solder it right there, So I can get it to sit. Sometimes I might be able to wedge it up in here like that, sort of. Solder. I've been messing with that word all day now. It's your fault too. Y'all hadn't got me started on that, we wouldn't be here. Cut it out. If I put that right there, and then I can get my soldering iron to come right up under here with it, and heat that up and spot weld that. Spot solder. Just solder that spot. I'm just gonna solder right out. Y'all stop making fun of the way I talk now. It ain't right. Don't be picking on me. Just 'cause I'm weird. You know, somebody's got to be weird. Might as well be me, right? I can't get in this childproof package here. Dang. What is up with that? There we go. There's a whole bunch of extra implements that comes with this thing, and I might not know how to use. Let's see if I can get this out of there. What's this thing? I might need to read the instructions. Oh yeah, it's got one of them things. I bet that's to set it on so you don't burn yourself. I got these little extra tips and things that I probably lose and never see again. Generally, when you give me extra stuff, that's generally the stuff that goes into a box or a drawer or something. We never see it again. By the way, speaking of boxes and drawers that I never see again, a while ago I was down at Eric Colson's house, and he gave me a little cabinet thing full of nuts and bolts and screws and washers, and I've been meaning to tell him how many projects that has saved me on. I come up needing something and I go and look in his box of stuff and I find it, and it saves me from having to drive into town to get one, and that's just been so helpful. So every time that happens, I think, man, I got to remember to thank Eric. You think I ever remember to thank Eric? I hadn't yet, but that's just how I roll, though, you know. I think of things when I think of things, and then I forget them when I forget them. I'm kind of like Popeye the Sailor Man, you know, in that way. I am what I am, and it's all what I am, and what I am is someone that don't always remember to thank somebody when they give me something nice, even if I mean to. Even if I'm thinking about it. I might be thinking about it, and then when I'm talking to them, I don't think about it then. The times that I think don't always match up with the times that I should be thinking, or something like that. Let's see this one, this little soldering iron here. I thought I could make this a commercial for it. This is a Weller, W-E-L-L-E-R, Weller standard duty 25 watt up to 750 degrees. Ooh, that's enough to burn your fingers. Soldering iron. Anyway, I noticed the other day when I was shooting a video here that right in here there's a rusty looking spot, but that's actually a rubber pad between the body and the frame. And I don't think it may be some rust, or it may just be a hint of rust. I'm gonna call it a hint of rust, but anyway, that's not having anything to do with what I'm just trying to talk about here. So this handy dandy little soldering iron's got a built-in light, which I think is cool. I usually check to see if it's hot enough to see if it'll melt solder. If it ain't hot enough to melt solder, it ain't hot enough to melt solder. See, that's like an old Indian term, test. For how to tell if you're soldering iron, you know, all them Indians they used to check their soldering irons by seeing if it was hot enough to melt solder. And if it was, they'd know it was hot enough to melt solder. That's kind of like the old Indian sign for rain. You know, if there's water falling out of the sky, then it's probably gonna rain. Anyway, so much of that nonsense. I got some other soldering wire that might be a little easier to use than this soldering wire because it seems a little bit coarse. And we can't have coarse soldering wire. All those special sound effects come from me getting up from a seated position. You know, I have to make a little extra noise. I like this real fine soldering wire. I hope this is going to be like the stuff I got at home. Actually, the stuff I got at home, I got at Radio Shack about 1,000,000 years ago, but I'm still using it. I don't even know if Radio Shack is still in existence much, but I'm still using it. Let's see if it'll melt that. Y'all watching? Y'all looking? Y'all paying attention? I don't see any meltage happening yet. Come on now. There's a little. Okay. Now it's smoking. You see that? It's always a good sign. You know what you're doing when you're soldering? You want to heat the thing you're soldering so that the wire melts to it and not to the soldering iron. So you hold that hot part up to the metal and you slide the solder in up underneath. Like I say, you're not trying to stick it to the metal. You're not trying to stick it to the tool. You're trying to stick it to the wire that you're trying to solder. That's why you need 3 hands to do this, because I got it stuck to the wrong place on the tool there. Now I need to unstick it from there and re-stick it to this thing here. Maybe come up underneath that and get it to work better. Just got to get your angle right. And don't go grabbing that with your fingers now, because that will burn you. Right there. Yeah, well. There you go. And I think now see that little piece of wire? It's got some solder in it, but is it actually soldered to that piece? Is it actually stuck to that piece? Yeah, I think it is. Okay, we're gonna call it good. So, once again, don't begin grabbing that with your naked fingers till you're sure it's cooled off enough. I think it has. Now, if I want to get really fancy, I could put some insulation stuff on here. But in reality, that shouldn't be anything that comes in contact with this over here. It's in a place where as long as it stays. And the other thing is, it's not hot all the time. It's only hot when you hit your ignition switch. And it's only hot while you're holding the switch, and it's making that noise. The other thing I want to do, or I did, is I got me some of this dry lube, and I sprayed it on my, I want to say flywheel, but on a, automatically call them a flex plate, but on the gear, on the flex plate that connects with the gear on the starter, I sprayed some of this dry lube, because I noticed the other day it was making a really kind of a high-pitched whine, kind of a grindy noise, and I don't want it to do that. I want it to be as effortless of a crank as you could possibly imagine. So that's why I did that. So let me unplug. By the way, I mentioned this handy dandy thing that they give you to set your thing on there. Isn't that handy and dandy? But I'm going to unplug that so that thing will cool off. And while it's cooling off, I'll walk around. We'll start the engine. Gentlemen, start your engines. I could probably do it from here. Just reach across in there. I'm pretty sure no part of my engine cover is in any part of anything that's gonna hurt here. So, let's just reach over in here and give her 2 pumps on the gas. Now you hear that little ant noise? I don't love that. I'm not sure if there's any way to get rid of it or not. You know, if you turn that switch loose sooner, you won't make that noise. So what that noise is the starter's still engaged once the motor's running. So I need to tell Bill and didn't have it myself. Once I turn that and it kicks over to let the thing go like that. Otherwise, it's that's what that noise is. It's the motor spinning faster than the starter gear. Okay. I'm sure that was totally unhelpful, and I'm absolutely positively sure you probably didn't learn anything from it, but at least we got some hangout time in the garage. And what else is there in life other than some folks getting some time to hang out together? So there's one more thing I was going to do out here today. You think I can remember what that one more thing is? No. Must have been really important, though. Oh well, I'll just ponder on it till I think of it. And I'll talk to y'all later. Have a good day. By the way, while we're out here, I will talk about this. Big Daddy sent me this toolbox the other day, and I just wanted to show you how neatly I had arranged the contents here. I mean, that's, you got to admit, that's Mr. Heavy Chevy'd be proud of that. I bet Mrs. Heavy Chevy would even be proud of that. That's organization right there, y'all.